proud members of the Dread Central Podcast Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Welcome to Kim and Kat
Stay Alive.
Maybe.
We are a horror movie comedy podcast.
We're going to tell you the entirety of a movie, spoilers and all. And this week, I, Kim Burns, am going to try to stay alive.
And I, Ketrin Porter, am going to try to kill her. No, I'm not. I never try to kill you.
Thank you.
I just try to lead you through.
To danger.
Yeah, exactly. A little ASMR for everybody. Gina holes out. Hold on. Oh, it's lame.
Tits out.
I thought it was going to have a nice, like, instead it was like, stupid. I'm finishing the last pumpkin ale that you brought. No, pumpkin
Cider
that you brought me. It's very yummo.
I think that was yours. It doesn't matter. I had thoughts about what you were saying, but I was like, that's not worth putting onto our recording.
But here we are talking about it.
But then you looked at me with a weird face because you knew my thoughts were working.
Your thoughts were working, and I was like, what is happening? What did I do wrong? What's on my face? What's the emergency?
It doesn't matter. And the pumpkin cider was yours. The pumpkin ale was what I brought. And I didn't taste the pumpkin cider. I don't know what the pumpkin cider tastes like. Hope it's good. Enjoy.
I'm really glad that we sorted this out.
Live. Cool.
Yep. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Kind of I just feel tired, but I went for a walk in the sunshine today, and that was nice.
That's great. I feel the same. I feel, I mean, obviously things are looking up.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a moment of like, wait, why do I not feel utter ecstatic jubilation now just all the time? And it's like, I realized like jubilation is not the opposite of 4 years of stress. It's actually the opposite is exhaustion. So I think that's what.
Yeah. And it's still not like.
It's not done.
It's not in the present currently. So yeah.
For sure.
No, yeah. I mean, we've been gaslit and abused for 4 years. So even though this is like, I had like a cry in the car about it. Because I was abused like as a kid in my household, and so like my goal was always to like get the fuck out, and so it's like that moment of like getting my acceptance letters to college, but like I still have 2 months at home, kind of thing.
Yes.
Like I know I'm almost out.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's such a good analogy.
But yeah,
That's a really
it
good
was
analogy.
I had a good cry about it because it was very similar feelings like for anyone who's been through trauma, which is why I don't listen to his voice, haven't watched a fucking thing he's done or said in a long time.
Yeah.
As like a protection, because it is a trigger for anyone who's been through trauma. But yeah.
Well, you had to explain that to me. About
like it's less than like, oh, I hate him, he sucks, or less. I mean, it's more than like, oh, I hate him, whatever, which everyone does, but like I'm like, no, like don't show me. I don't want to hear his voice. Like,
yeah,
and it's like a personal protection thing. Like it's not just like that guy sucks.
Totally
for me, and I think everyone. Honestly, I think we were all kind of, the whole country's been like gaslit, and it's a whole cult mentality. It's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I obviously don't wish an expertise in abuse on anyone, but I was appreciative that like I was having these feelings and you were like, I've identified them. Here you go.
Yeah. That's so true. Like I was like, I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't feel worried about it because I'm like, oh, I know how to get through this and I know how to survive and thrive and stuff like that. So I guess I have a one up.
Yeah. You do. It's great.
Yeah, as compared to others who maybe haven't experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's how I feel when people are like, I'm depressed and want to kill myself. And I'm like, oh, cool. I got a playbook for that. But yeah, other than that, it's been a great week, and I'm happy about, in general, where I see my mental state going.
Nice.
So
I love hearing
like that.
Love hearing that. I love that journey for you.
Thank you. I love that journey for me too. What else? What did I do? This is not a horror recommendation, but it's kind of a horror in a different kind of way. I watched Tim Heidecker's YouTube special last night, and it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen to date in my life.
Who that is.
You do. The Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. And then also he played Elizabeth Moss's husband in Us.
His husband in Us. Oh, okay.
So that's Tim Heidecker. And his brand of comedy is super fucking weird. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was like this fucking character study of bad comedians. And it was an hour of it. And it was and I'm explaining it horribly.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like nothing I want to watch, but sounds good. I'm glad you liked it.
I need you to watch it because I need to talk to you about it. Like, as an actor, I need to talk to you about it.
I don't know. Is it like Great British Baking Show good or no?
There are no breads being baked on stage.
Like, how close is the texture? Is it open texture?
Does it spring back when you push it?
What's the bake? Is there a soggy bottom?
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I guess if we're on the topic, we're all clear that Paul Hollywood can get it, right?
Not for me, but
what?
Paul
Hollywood can't get any of you?
No.
Don't you want him to just like push your soggy bottom a little bit?
I really don't.
This is strange. Well, but you know what? It's one of the great things about our friendship. We never fought over dudes.
Like, he's just
a smoke show
dick.
Oh, I see.
Guess.
I see how the pattern's playing. To me, he's just.
I mean, it's
a
like
confident silver fox.
It's like on purpose now a little bit. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Well, more for me, Paul Hollywood.
Like, I think I'd take Noel over Paul Hollywood.
No. Well, this works out great. It's like we're at a bar in our early 20s all over
some vampire sex.
And I would like to have some bread sex.
Well, this was our Great British Baking Show podcast.
I would
hope that any of you have watched it, considering what we normally talk about.
So
I highly recommend it. So just so you know.
So far on our horror movie comedy podcast, we have talked about a stand-up special and Great British Baking Show. So we're here bringing you what you tuned in for.
I just love it. I actually I've been through this week I got through the whole thing. And so now maybe that's why I'm tired. I'm just like, what do I have to live for anymore? I don't have any more Great British Baking. You don't know what?
I know. Being caught up is the worst. It's exactly what we all need right now too. I think is also what it is. It's the very salve for
I mean, I saved it up. I could have been done with that show long ago, and I purposely saved it. I was like, I was like the little boy in Neverending Story when he's like, oh, not too much. He's like,
not too much.
Saves it for later.
That fucking little boy was extra before extra was even a thing. Like, he was, oh my God, that little fucking boy. I love him. I can't even think about that movie, though, without thinking about the horse. So thank you. Fuck off. Cool. I don't have any. Oh,
What?
you know what I want to start announcing, telling people?
What?
Guys, we're doing a Christmas live show.
We're going to do one.
We are doing it on December 12th, 12/12, and it's $12. 12/12. So it's going to be streaming live, obviously, because we're all about to go into full-blown lockdown again. So come watch our show. It's going to be great.
That's all we know about it so far.
Yeah. But we're
doing it.
Yeah, so mark your mark your calendars for 12/12.
Bring your jollies
Yeah.
and your hollies. And let's get physical. Oh, God. I'll see myself out.
Please do. What I like is that we don't even have to politely ask anyone to see themselves out anymore. They just
do
know
it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Tim and Brian on Civil Gore always do. They'll like tweet something at me, and then before I can even say see yourself out, they're like, no, we're out. We're gone. It's my favorite. I love it. Well, I'm ready to go if you are.
I guess so. I don't know what else to talk about. I have nothing going on in my life except for this podcast and
Great British Baking Show.
and apparently Great British Baking Show.
And not watching Tim Heidecker like I asked you to. So that's what's going on for you.
Cult documentaries.
Are there new cult documentaries that I haven't seen?
There's 2 on Nexium, and then there's like a new season of the Scientology one.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out. Unsolved Mysteries too.
Yeah.
Did you watch that all the way through?
Not the
already?
new one they just put out.
Okay. For some reason, episode 4 takes place in reference to the tsunami that happened in 2004 or 5 or something. And so everyone is speaking in a different language, and there are no subtitles on the episode. And I'm wondering if it's a mistake with like the upload onto Netflix. So if you could go investigate that on your end for me, please, that would be
I will
great.
check that out. There's a movie on Netflix called The Impossible that I watched the other day. It was like over the weekend when I just cried constantly. And then I decided to watch The Impossible, which is about a family going through the tsunami in Thailand. And I just cried more. And I was like, well, I just cry at everything.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. No, this is an episode of Unsolved Mysteries where after the tsunami, a bunch of people had unexplained experiences.
Ooh.
But what's weird is like I always have the captions on, like or the subtitles on, like basically just from like having to take notes on horror movies. Like now I just have it on. And there was another episode that took place in Oslo. And so occasionally they would be speaking Norwegian, and like that would come up with like the English subtitles for me. This episode, it had the Japanese on there, but not for me to. So they were speaking in a different language, and it was written in a different language with subtitles. So I was like, what is happening? So I need you all to go watch that episode and tell me if my Netflix is fucked up.
Further and see if that was just a Ketron fuck up.
How could I have fucked it up?
I bet there's probably a real easy fix.
Bitch, okay. I challenge thee. I challenge thee to tell me how I thee fucked it up.
But The Impossible is great if you want to. I don't know. I loved it. It was great. I cried. And that's
And it's a documentary?
No. Like Ewan McGregor's in it and Naomi Watts.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty horrific.
I don't know if I have it in me. We'll see.
But
Guys.
it's an inspiring survival story.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'd like to survive or be inspired to do so. Okay, I'm going to take you on a little journey. Would you like to come with me?
I would like that. I don't know what this journey is at all, so I'm excited to hear.
Great. So this is our Patreon pick.
Oh, right.
And
what did they pick for me?
it was close. It was 11 to 0 to 0 for this one.
Whoa!
Yeah. So we are going to hear about the 2002 Ghost Ship.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which I learned about from hearing about its iconic first scene. So I will tell you about that when we get there. It is written by Mark Hanlon and directed by Steve Beck, who has really only directed anything that he directed 13 Ghosts.
Oh,
but then
yeah. has
has just been doing really well-paying commercials. So
good on you, Betty.
get it, guy. It's great. It has Julianna Marguiles, Gabriel Byrne.
I love Julianna Marguiles.
Yeah,
I love Julianna Marguiles.
Do you? Yeah, she's pretty great in this. Then it's also Carl Urban, who... Do you watch The Boys?
No.
Okay. He's Butcher. You'd recognize him. He's Butcher in The Boys. Then we have Ron Eldard, who I was like, I had a crush on you as a child. What did I see you in that I had a crush on you as a child? And I couldn't figure it out because he's also basically been in like everything you've ever watched. So I was like, what was it? Like he was in that show Men Behaving Badly. So I was like, is that where like 96, 97? No, he was in Drop Dead Fred as like the good boyfriend.
Oh, Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah. Because in my head, I was like, I see him. I'm a child in the club room and he's wearing an earring. And I have a crush on you. Why? Drop Dead Fred. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
Such a good, oh God, it's such a good movie. So good. And then Isaiah Washington as well.
Oh, I love that.
So, what'd you say?
I love him.
Oh, okay. All right. So here we go. So we have Dead or Alive's Jules, who's Julianna Margulies.
Alive.
Gabriel Byrne, Gabe.
Gabriel Byrne. Ooh. Alive. Remember
Dodge.
Gabriel Byrne in Hereditary?
I do. I very much do.
And his alive or not alive moment?
Ooh, I also remember that. Thanks for reminding me. I just love having that image planted in my brain. Or we just... She kept going, guys. I was just waiting patiently, and it just kept going. I think she short-circuited. Then we have Dodge, who's Drop Dead Fred.
Dodge is dead.
Greer, who's Isaiah Washington.
Dead.
Heavy metal guy.
Alive. We love our heavy metal guys.
Really do. Yeah.
What's this one? Is he the cousin? What cousin is this? We got
Heavy metal Santos.
Oh, wow. Heavy metal Jeff, heavy metal Randy, and heavy metal Santos.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
We're growing quite the family of the heavy metals.
heavy metal Santos seems like the one who like would be breaking up fights between
the other two.
Jeff and Randy, because like
Right.
I don't see him as like really being on fire for God or being on fire for Satan. Like I think he's just on fire for music.
He's in the Church of Heavy Metal. Like truly.
Yeah. Exactly. Is he alive or dead?
Alive. I'm gonna keep my heavy metal family alive because I love them.
Great. Newbie
Dead.
and Butcher.
Dead.
Not bad.
Oh, hooray.
Not
bad
great,
is fantastic
not bad.
for me.
Yeah. Okay. Ghost ship.
Go
Here we
ship.
go.
Go ship.
So
Go ship.
we open on a beautiful cruise ship. And there are people in evening gowns and waiters in white tie with white gloves. And everyone is dancing. And there is a band playing on stage. And the lead singer is this beautiful lady in red with like a strapless long satin ball gown and red gloves. and it's all just very posh and beautiful.
Red tie and red gloves.
Yeah. Did I say red tie and red gloves?
No, you said
that what I
white
said?
tie and white gloves.
Oh.
So I just figured she was in red tie and red gloves.
Red tie and red gloves. Yep, exactly. She's singing in Italian, and all the grown-ups are I'm sorry, are you about to sing in Italian for us?
I was, but I kept it inside. I
you
just
did.
did hand movements instead.
I mean, I saw it in your eyes. I saw the musical notes in your eyes, so it was lovely. So everyone's dancing, and then there's this little girl sitting on like a bench, and she just looks bored, you know? And she's like dressed like Pollyanna. So like I was like, what time period are you? I don't understand what's happening. But she's also very young, so it could just be like, she dresses, that's her formal
What does
wear.
like Pollyanna look like?
Like Alice in Wonderland.
Okay.
Like that kind of outfit. And then a waiter comes over and like she has this like puzzle where it's a bunch of blocks that are connected on a string that's pulled very taut, and you can move the blocks around to kind of have it spell words and things like that. It's like a kid's toy or a puzzle or something. And so like the waiter comes over and he like sees that she's bored. So he takes the toy from her and he like makes it spell welcome aboard. And she's just
Welcome
like,
aboard.
Cute. Like, oh, thanks. And then an old man server comes over and he like asks her to dance. And she's like, oh, like she just like, people are just trying to keep her entertained because she's by herself. And as this is happening, we then go to a different part of the boat where we see a gloved hand, but like a utility gloved hand, not like a white gloved hand.
Or red glove. Utility glove. A lot of gloves in this. Wow.
It's a
very
real-
glove heavy movie.
It's a real glove box up in this piece. So goodbye. See ya. You don't even have to tell me. I'm out.
This is so bad.
It was so bad. It wasn't even like, it was bad. Okay. So we see this like hand like flip a lever, but like we don't know where we are in the boat. I don't believe that either of us are boat experts. I mean, I could be wrong, but you know, we're not, and definitely not cruise ship experts.
Not cruise ship. No, I mean, I did go on a cruise ship in 5th grade, but I think that's my only cruise ship experience.
Okay, but at no point were you driving it or pulling or pushing levers. I'm assuming.
I was not. I know that boats are the cousin of cars, which I'm an expert on, but so I'm, close to it. But a cruise ship is
a whole other thing.
yeah, that's the monster truck of boats.
It is the monster truck of boats for sure.
Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
Absolutely not.
Oh, really?
No, my grandfather and my 2 great aunts used to go on cruise ships all the time when the 3 of them were all still alive. So FB, Babby, and Pila. And they loved it. They would like go on cruise ships like to Antarctica and stuff.
Ooh, that's cool.
So they loved it. But then there were also stories of like when the entire fucking boat got the fucking flu. You know, like just shit like that. Like there's just no way to like get off or on
Yeah.
the boat. And I think just 1 or 2 too many of those stories, I was just kind of like, I don't need to get on a cruise ship. And then also like with COVID, where it was like all of those fucking people that were just stuck on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm
I
just
was
saying-
in 5th grade, so it's a long time. I didn't have a lot of research behind my cruise ship.
I'm just saying over the years, I've developed opinions about cruise ships that I didn't previously have.
Yeah.
So,
We went to Disney World and then on the Big Red Boat, which took us to like the Bahamas and stuff like that, I think. Kind of like Caribbean islands or something like that. You kind of hopped around islands or whatever. But it was like really fucking fun as a kid.
wait,
because they have.
did you go with your family or school?
I went with my cousins. I went with family, but not like my immediate family.
Oh,
I went with like my cousins and my cousin who's like my aunt cousin, and then another aunt, I think, and then my closest cousins that are like my brothers. That was the infamous moment of me, because we had to leave the country basically for that, to get on the cruise ship and like go to the islands. And that was the infamous moment where I found out I didn't have my second middle name.
Oh, that's
was the cruise ship.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was-
You have some really vivid cruise ship connections.
I really do. I actually like, they just put on so much fun stuff for kids. Like there's a whole kids section that they do, and they really keep you entertained. It was very fun. And then I had a pen pal from the cruise for a very long time after that.
That's so cute.
Yeah. It
Your
was,
little cruise ship pen pal.
it was a great time. And there are still from that trip things that my family will bring up and make fun of me for. Like in that we're pulling out naked pictures of you in the bathtub way. Like to this day, they still talk about it.
I love it. Oh, I wish you still had your cruise ship pen pal. That would be.
I know that would be really cute, but if we became virtual friends, but it just didn't happen in time. So
Sure.
so sad.
So, pulling a lever, and so we're getting two things happening. So we're seeing this lovely posh party happening, and then we're also seeing that the lever that was pulled is winding up on like a giant spool, a very, very thick, taut, giant wire.
Okay,
Okay?
I see it.
So it's winding it up. And we see that it is sort of caught around something. It just, you never see like the actual aerial view of what's happening. We're just sort of seeing that something is awry. And so everyone's dancing. And then all of a sudden we see this wire in slow motion getting pulled taut across the dance floor. And so we see orchids sliced off at the top. And then we just hear until it comes to the other side and the wire is covered in blood. And everyone all of the dancers, the music has stopped and they're all just standing there silently staring, perfectly still, and then their torsos all fall to the floor. And they're still alive, so it's panning around. And there are people, like, there's a woman who's trying to, like, grab her bottom half to, like, pull it back over to herself.
No, I like my bottom half connected to my top half.
And there's, like, we see one guy who, like, his wife's lower body starts to fall. So he's, like, holding her torso up by her dance hands. But then his lower body falls and nobody is connected where they're supposed to be connected.
No.
But they're all still alive. So then we come to the little girl and the old man waiter. He saw this coming.
Right.
So he ducked, like, to cover her.
Yeah.
So his head is sliced in half.
Oof.
And she's fine. So she's the last one standing and just looking around at a whole bunch of body halves. And she just screams and runs through the torsos and lower halves.
Oh, no. I hate this.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So that's the opening scene.
What? I don't want my torso to be
No.
not to connect it to my bottoms.
No, and also, like, if it should happen to become disconnected, I would like to be dead immediately and not know about it. I don't want to have to think about whether I should try to connect it.
Talk about this, about chickens with their head cut off kind of thing?
We did.
Can we postmortem that? This might be already on a postmortem list, but how long? I think the postmortem was how long. Yeah, because it was from idle hands. How long the body can live or head can live, like when the head is separated. But I'd love to know a torso separation as well.
I mean, it's got to be a minute because it's like your heart
it's still pumping.
Is still pumping and your brain is still there. So it's like
no.
So it's like basically you would bleed out. Like, obviously it's going to fuck up your internal organs, but that's not going to kill you right away. So yeah.
Hate that.
It's not
That's
great,
up there.
Kim.
That's up there
Yeah.
with one of my least favorite ways to die.
Yeah, it was a real bummer. So that's our opening scene.
Wow, your postmortem is going to just be all kinds of how long does the body live, depending on where it gets sliced.
Yeah, and I'm just going to dive right in with a big smile on my face because I love that shit. Okay, so now we cut to a rough and tumble ship's crew. And we got Julianna Marguiles. And we got Isaiah Washington. And Gabriel Byrne. And Ron Eldard. And Carl Urban?
Yeah.
Carl Urban? Yeah, Carl Urban. Oh, Keith Urban. That's what I was thinking. It's Carl Urban. And they're all like, we know ships and we're a tugboat and we're saving this wreckage. And oh my God, like there's a hole down here. Julianna, don't do it. She's like, I can fix it. No. Oh my God, she fixed it. High five, everybody.
Woo.
So it's like, this is our crew. All right.
Okay.
So now we cut to them celebrating in like a real fisherman's bar. Okay.
Okay.
And they're splitting the money between them and cheersing.
Like,
and they've
what
got
kind
a
of
lot-
boat do they have?
So yeah, I'll just tell you. It's explained to us in like 2 seconds. But so basically, they are salvagers of wrecked ships. So what they do is they get their tugboat and they pull in wrecks.
Okay.
But they've got to do a lot of fixing it because it's like, you know, you don't want to be pulling a boat that is taking on water actively. So it's like you got to plug up the holes first.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. And they're you know, kind of independent contractor, rough and tumble kind of people because they're like paid in cash because it's like there's stuff that's on wrecked ships that is worth money. So it's like that's what they're doing. Okay, so we cut to them celebrating in the bar, lots of toasts, lots of quips about sea life and about the sea, things like that. And I learned that boat people are similar to car people in that they both are fucking their vessels,
like to fuck
clearly.
Boats. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So we have these people are 100% fornicating with various boats.
You know what? That tracks.
They're into it. So they're all celebrating. And then this dude comes over and he's kind of shy and he's like, goes up to Gabe and he's Gabriel Byrne. And he's like, hey, like, I know you. And he's like, I'm a pilot and I have a project for you. And they're all kind of like, get out of here. Who are you? Blah. And he shows them a picture and it's an aerial view of a giant cruise ship that's floating in the ocean along the Bering Strait, which is like a very, very cold part of the ocean up towards Alaska, I think. I believe it is what connects Russia to Alaska. I can't remember. Bering Strait. Very cold.
Great. We can postmortem that.
Great. And he's like, I saw this ship in my aerial. I took a picture of it when I was flying my plane. And he's like, it shouldn't be there. Like, there's no reason that it should be there. And he's like, I want you to help me find it. And he's like, I want a 20% finder's fee. So they're all kind of like discussing it amongst themselves. And not everyone wants to do it because they've just been out for like a long time. Greer, who's Isaiah Washington, is like, I'm getting married in a month. Like, I should probably get home, you know, and like they're all tired. So question number 1, Kim.
Yes.
Do you go? And do they go? Now, remember, this guy is not paying them. This guy is like, somebody will surely pay you for that. Let's go get it. And I want 20%. So do you go? Do they go?
I'm going to go see my fiance and get married and go home. We just made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
I need some family life. I need to like recoup for
DC leg yourself.
Yes.
Never heard of sea legs?
Rest and rejuvenate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard of sea legs. Just not DC legging myself. And I think that they go.
First question, first double ding.
Oh,
You're fucking killing
bitches.
it. And
I'ma fuck this boat so hard. Fucking double ding boat.
Question 2 is coming up right now because Newbie says, I want to come with you. And they're like, no, we don't want to be like taking care of someone who doesn't know how to be on a boat. And Newbie is like, but I also don't want you to fuck me on the money. Like, I want 20%. So if like I want to make sure that you are keep to your word kind of thing. So question number 2, the crew, do they agree to let him come? And do you agree to let him come?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to say that they do allow him to come. And I will as well, hand in hand, question mark. Ooh.
They do let him come.
Bad choice.
Yeah, but we're not going to know why.
Sure.
And it's also still a little nebulous. So, all right. So, here we are. We're going out to get the boat. They're on their little tugboat. They're all having a good time. Heavy Metal is at the wheel driving, and he is just raging so hard to his fucking metal. And Julianna, Jules is downstairs shaving Greer's head, and like they're all just drinking beers and make some gay jokes about Navy boys because I guess we were still doing gay jokes in 2002. Mm-hmm. I don't know when those stopped, but they hadn't here. And then Heavy Metal sees something on that little spinny radar, you know, where it's like it's a circle and it spins around. Boop, boop. Exactly. He sees something and he's like, what the fuck? And then it cuts back down to the underground part below deck. And like Newbie is like seasick. Like he's just like, this sucks. And they're like, told ya. And
First
Heavy
time
Metal
fucking a boat, it happens.
Yeah. It gets a little. Nope, lost it.
Little
Sorry.
Little.
I had
Sorry?
an analogy. I had a metaphor. It left my brain. So I'm gonna follow it and see myself out. So we cut back to Heavy Metal, and he like seems confused. Like he's like, this shouldn't be blooping here. I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Back downstairs, Jules is just kind of giving us some backstory, and she's like, these guys are like my family, blah, blah, blah. Gabe is like a father to her. We're just kind of getting the lay of the land. Heavy Metal then gets on the walkie-talkie, and he's like, Gabe, you've got to come up here. Some shit is weird on my bloop. And so Gabe goes up, and as soon as he gets there, it's not there. So he's like, what the fuck is your problem?
Oh.
And Heavy Metal is like, no, I fucking saw it. And so he like hits it and it bloops again. And he's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. And so Gabe tells Dodge, who's Ron Eldard, Drop Dead Fred, he's like, go up to the big light, like the big spotlight. And he's like, go see if there's like something there.
Yeah.
And so they start trying to radio to whatever is out there. Cause like, that's the thing is like, it's kind of like air traffic control. There's like sea traffic control where it's like all boats are supposed to be on like a frequency where you can be like, hey, who are you in the water?
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing, like no response, nothing. He's up there with the light, can't see anything. Giant fucking boat, like giant fucking boat, just right fucking there. And it's so big, it gave me immediate anxiety. And it's like they're coming up on it. And so like Heavy Metal has to like put the brakes on the boat. But it's like, I mean, what are brakes on the water? And so it's still like going towards the big giant boat, and fucking Dodge is up there and he almost gets smooshed. Smooshed between the two. So it
Okay, so he's like on the front.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay,
And
okay.
it's like nobody would have been going that fast. Nobody would have been whatever. So he almost gets smooshed. He doesn't. It's a giant ocean liner. it appears to have seen better days. It's just a big pile of rust in the ocean. But you can kind of see the name on it. So, like, Gabe appears to, like, recognize the name of the ocean liner. And so they're like, do you know this boat? And Gabe is like, only in my dreams. And I was like, God, boat people really do fuck their boats. And then they fantasize about fucking other boats. Like, this is really what's happening. And he's like, this boat was reported missing in 1962. But it was super weird because, like, there were no distress calls made. Like, there was nothing. Like, it just disappeared, and it's been one of the great mysteries, and, like, now we just crashed into it. So he also then says, he's like, under maritime law, she's ours. Basically, it's like, and I kind of want to postmortem maritime law as well, because they reference it a couple times where I'm like, are you making this up for the movie, for the plot, or is
lawyer me, bitch?
Yeah, because basically maritime law states that if something is found in international waters, it's finders keepers. Like, that's the official maritime law, is finders keepers.
Sounds great.
I was like, okay.
I guess maybe that's what, aren't there reality shows about that now, or they're like deep digging for gold, whatever. I don't know. Like,
deep digging for gold,
sea gold, treasure
gold. I mean, I guess. I mean, it sounds like a great show. I'd probably watch, but
I think it exists where people just go and find treasure.
Ooh,
in the sea.
That sounds great. Well, this hold that thought. Hold that treasure seeking thought, would you?
I'm not saying I want to do it. I'm just saying.
Right. Sure. So
I think it exists on TV.
So now the tugboat is has a big crane on it that gets them onto bigger boats. It's literally a crane.
Okay.
Greer reminds them to keep all of their channels open to walkie-talkie. And Greer stays on the tugboat, and they all make Newbie stay on the tugboat too.
Sure.
Because they're like, don't get in the way. Like, we can't with you. So now Jules, Gabe, Butcher, and Dodge are all on the wreck, okay? Greer and Newbie are on the tugboat. And Greer is telling Newbie, like, Jules is like a daughter to Gabe, and he'd be lost without her. So they're on the ship, and they're looking around, and they see that there are no lifeboats, no life jackets, nothing. And so they're like, are you sure there were no survivors? Because, like...
Looks like people got off.
Right. And Gabe is like, no. I mean, as far as I know. And so they head into the bows of the ship, you know. And Gabe is just like, it's a beauty. And I'm like, whoa, don't let your boner hit you in the eye, dude. Calm down. It was inappropriate. Yeah. And so he's like, whoever was here sure left in a hurry. Like, they're able to see that from whatever the fuck. So now they come to, like, the fancy part of the boat, like where parties would be held. I don't know. You're the cruise ship expert. Where the parties would happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. I see it.
Yeah. And they start making jokes about, like, the love boat. And they're like, it looks like we missed a party because there's still remnants of a party around. Wow. And Butcher comes to a big giant grandfather clock, and it's still ticking. The little pendulum is still swinging.
And
so he goes...
is cray.
Yeah, so he goes over to it, and he goes to touch it, and it stops. He's like, what the... Gong! And so they're like, oh, shit. And they kind of make fun of him for, like, jumping, you know? Like, they're like, and then they walk away. But the camera stays on a little table next to the clock, and we see the little wooden block word puzzle. And it moves itself to say, "Welcome aboard."
Oh, no.
So Gabe then tells Jules, he's like, there were over 600 people on this cruise. They were the creme de la creme of people. And then there was over a 500-person crew from Italy. So that's who was on this fucking boat. We cut back to Greer, who's on the tugboat. He appears to be having issues with the radio. Like, he's just, like, getting static on all of the channels. Mm-hmm. Now we cut back to the wreck. So I guess I'll say the tug and the wreck, if that's clear.
The tug and the wreck. Yep, got it.
They come to this big door that's got like one of those turny wheels on it to open it, like a vault. And they're like, I think this gets us to the bridge. And the bridge is basically, I guess, where the control center is of everything. Cool. Why am I telling you? You're the expert.
I'm like, oh, yeah. That's where like the captain is.
Yeah. So
it's also from Star Trek. So.
Oh, sure. Yes. Didn't know you were a Trekkie as well. I guess all ships. Kim is just into all ships, all cars, all modes of transportation. Kim does not discriminate.
Them all. I fuck them all.
So Gabe opens it, goes in. Back with Newbie and Greer. Newbie is just like, what's wrong with your walkie? And Greer's like, I don't know. So now we go back to the wreck. Butcher goes through the door first. So like Gabe goes to go in and then Butcher's like, no, let me go first. And as he goes through, falls through the floor.
Oh,
and he's
shit.
like, ah, ah. And Jules is the one who's right behind him. So like she's trying to hold him, but like clearly her upper body strength is like,
right.
It's hard. And it's a big drop down to the bottom. So she's like trying to hold him and she's looking down through the hole and she sees like a large staircase down below, like a fancy staircase. And there's a little girl standing on the staircase. So she's trying to use her upper body strength and also deal with a ghost child on the stairs. And so they finally like pull him back up. And he starts kind of like maniacally laughing. And it's just like, I almost shit my pants. Like he's just, he's like, that was crazy. Am I right? So question.
This is a valid reaction.
Yeah. I am pretty positive that like if I were to fall through the floor, it would be first my own shit hitting the floor and then me.
Yeah, I
for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, I'd shit my pants.
100%. So question 3.
Just out of sheer surprise, probably more than anything.
Oh, that concerns me that you're worried about shitting your pants at any sheer surprise because those, you don't have to be on a wreck for surprises to happen, Ms. Burns.
But like a deathly surprise.
A deathly surprise. Okay, well.
I don't know.
Good luck to you.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't shit my pants that many times in life, and none of them were due to deathly surprise. So maybe I wouldn't. Maybe my shit would stay inside.
You don't strike me as a fear shitter, honestly.
You know what? You're actually right. Yeah. I was just trying to, I guess, be in this club.
You strike me as like a fear puncher.
You know what? When you're right, you're right.
Yeah. So that's my analysis of the situation.
Great. So
okay.
We'll fall through the floor. You'll shit your pants, and I'll just punch the air, I guess.
Yeah. You just falling down and punching at anything. So pulls him back. Almost shit my pants. Question 3. You're Jules. Do you tell them? Does she tell them?
Definitely tell them. I don't know her yet, but I'm gonna say no. Gonna say no. Gonna say no. Double ding, because I'm gonna say no.
So fucking hot. All right. So she doesn't say anything. And they keep walking around. They make it to the bridge. Butcher sees a compass. it's dead, like not pointing north, I guess. Other equipment is not working. Fuel is empty. And they're like, they must have run at full throttle till it was bone dry, basically. Because they're like, it's just so little fuel. There's no fuel. So Gabe pulls Jules aside and he's like, we need to find like the ship's log and the captain's log and like all the documents. Like we just need to like see what's happening here. You into that captain's log?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Give me that captain's log. So he asks her, she's like kind of quiet and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yep. I haven't seen any child ghosts on the stairs. So then they keep walking, and Dodge and Butcher then find a digital watch.
A digital watch.
And they're like, this ish wasn't invented in 1962. That's fucking weird. And so they're like, someone else must have found this wreck.
Oh shit.
But it's ours now, you know?
Because
maritime
law.
Maritime law, finders keepers. And like that's legit. Like they're like somebody could have stumbled upon this and like not been able to fix it or
or like
whatever.
Tug it back the way that we can.
So they're just like, oh, we found this. So now we cut to them getting back onto the tug. And Newbie asks, you know, what happened? And Gabe is like, I don't know. Like, I really can't. I haven't been able to suss out like exactly what happened. And he's like, it reminds me of this other ship that I know of that disappeared. And he's like, that other ship sees a giant cruise ship coming full tilt at them. And something looks off. And so they're radioing nothing. And so they board the ship and no one was on it. And he's like,
this is him describing a past ship experience.
Correct. It's him describing, and it was a little confusing.
He's like, this is reminiscent. Okay.
Yeah. And it's reminiscent of two different ships that we're talking about because it's this ship stumbled across this other ship that I'm telling you about. And that other ship was weird. So they were like, hello, hello. And no one was answering. But it was going fucking full tilt. And they get on it. No one's there. No one's driving the boat. It's completely abandoned, but it had gone 4,500 miles in the open ocean with no one driving it. So Gabe was kind of like, this reminds me of that, where it's just like there's no immediate answer as to what happened, and it's a fucking mystery. And Newbie, smiling, says, sounds like a ghost ship.
Ghost ship. Ghost ship, ghost ship, ghost ship, ghost ship, ghost ship. So to be clear, this is not the ship that they were looking for. This they just bumped into on the way to the ship that they were trying to find.
This is the ship they were looking for, but it wasn't. Yes, but it wasn't like where it should have been, basically.
Okay.
And they also should have like seen it as opposed to it like just appearing in front of them.
Got it.
So Dodge calls bullshit. They all laugh. Heavy Metal is like, by the way, like we can't pull this thing. Like our fucking engine, if you remember, we crashed into it. So it's like we're not running at 100% either now. And Gabe is like, no, we are, because Heavy Metal, you're going to fucking fix it. And they are making lots of different suggestions. So Heavy Metal is like, I don't have the tools to fix this. And Gabe is like, I ain't hearing that. Yes, you do. And then they're like, well, what if we got like more tugs out here? And Dodge is like, no way. Like if we leave it, like the Russians will scoop it up. And Greer is like, for my share of the reward, I'll fucking drag it myself. So basically they're like, we don't want to alert anyone else to this because we don't want to split up whatever's on there.
Right.
So they all laugh.
All the heavy metals are really like, so Heavy Metal Santos is fucking big boats. Heavy Metal Randy was obviously fucking his monster truck.
100.
Heavy Metal Jeff, what was he
Fucking his projector.
Oh, he was fucking his projector.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably his Bible.
Yes, fucking his projector and his Bible. Yeah. So they all laugh. Heavy Metal suggests that he still is just like, this is all great, but like our tug just still isn't up for it. So what do you do and what do they do?
I think that they're going to give it the old college try.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does. I went to college. I know exactly what that means.
And I am going to, I'm a boat expert. Mm-hmm. And I know that this boat, my current tug, can't tug that. So I think that I am going to get some help.
1 point for them. Hold that thought.
Okay.
So they decide to give it the old college try. One of the things they say is like, I know Heavy Metal that like you're not happy with the tools we have to make the fixes, but like the wreck might have some tools.
Oh, the wreck might have some tools.
Yeah, so they're like, if we combine toolkits, we might be able to get a little something going here.
Combined.
Exactly. So cut to them panning around the ghost ship. We see a quick flashback that Jules has of the ghost girl. And she's standing on the bow of the tug. Newbie comes out and brings her a jacket. And she like lights a cigarette. And she's like, I've really missed these. I don't know. I guess she was trying to quit, but whatever.
Been there.
Yeah. And Newbie is like, are you okay? Like you've been really quiet. And she's like, I just think I saw something. And she's like, nothing. Never mind. And he's like, no, tell me. And she's like, I think I saw a little girl on the ship. And he's like, then what happened? She's like, she disappeared. And he's like, sometimes when I was flying for hours, like I would see crazy shit. And like just kind of trying to make her feel better.
Yeah.
So she thanks him for making her feel better. And she's like, I'm going to go to bed. So now it's sunrise. Newbie is awake, looking out over the side of the ship. And all of a sudden, scubas pop up out of the water.
Scubas?
And he's like, ah! Well, they got up way earlier than he did. And they had all jumped down to scuba around and see what was happening.
Oh, wow.
So Jules pops up and she's like, it's got a fucking crazy ass tear in it. Tear is what they call a hole.
Okay.
And she's like, she's sinking fast. So now they're back inside the tug and Newbie makes a joke, or not really even a joke. He's just like, what do you think tore it? Like, was it an iceberg? And like they all laugh because they're like, oh, icebergs. That's not a thing that really tears ships that often. I just fucking hate that when somebody's an expert in something. You ask a perfectly normal question for a non-expert, and they're like, "You idiot!" And I'm like,
"So true."
I fucking hate that. It drives me crazy. So that's what they do. They're like, "Oh, iceberg, idiot." And I'm like, okay, like I just don't fuck that many boats. So I'm just asking a fucking question.
Excuse me for my boat virginity.
Yeah,
like,
jeez.
I just don't know what it likes.
Rude. So
doesn't like, and like fast, slow. Like I just don't know.
Right. Exactly. Icebergs, rocks.
Yeah.
What penetrates me?
What really makes
it
feel good, and
yeah, we should just end it.
Blows its horn.
No. Yeah. So Gabe says there is a current that's pulling us towards this group of islands, but this group of islands is basically just like rock formations.
Okay.
So like it can fuck your shit up. And he's like, when she hits again, she's going to sink. So basically, he's like, the current, I would ascertain that she hit this group of rocks and she's going to come back around and hit it again.
Makes sense.
And Gabe tells them, he's like, we've got like 3 days to fix this hole, weather permitting, before we hit this rock formation again. And Heavy Metal comes in with the fucking knowledge again. And he's like, you can't tow a Cadillac that has 4 flat tires. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, but Butcher is like, you know, Butcher is the he seems to be like the underground repairman, the underwater repairman.
Okay.
He's a welder of some kind,
right.
You know, like he's doing that thing. And so he comes in and he's like, no, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to boom, 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 and this, and it'll be tight, but we're going to do it in 3 days. So Heavy Metal keeps trying to come in to like warn them, and they're like, no, we're going to do it.
He's like, I fucked more boats than you. I know.
Right. He's like, some you just got to let go. So they're like, we can do it. Heavy is like, oh, this is actually where he says, like, the gear we have, I can't fix our engine. And that's where they're like, where Gabe is like, make it work. Maybe we have some tools on the other boat. Like, this is where they're like, this is how we're going to make it work. And stop bitching. And Heavy Metal is annoyed.
Sure.
So Greer says, he's like, we should call it in to the Maritime Law Board.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just being like, this is getting bigger.
Yeah. Hello, Maritime.
Yeah. And Gabe is like, don't do that because we don't want unexpected guests. So Kim, question 5, do you call it in? Do they call it in?
I don't think they do. I think that I do. I feel like they're being a little selfish and greedy. And a little cocky.
Greedy. Yeah.
To be like, we want this all ourselves. Even though they might not be able to handle it right now.
Yeah. I'm going to give you 1.5 points.
Okay.
I can't really say any more than that until later.
Okay.
Calling in help. Sure. Because basically what that suggests to me is not so much like that action will definitely keep you alive, but like it's showing a sense of like logic and not being like cocky about what you can do and not letting greed dictate how you move forward.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave you 0.5 point. So cut to them on the wreck, and Jules is giving orders. Then we cut back to Heavy Metal, and he is complaining to a picture of a Cadillac down in the engine room and like just being like what the fuck, like I can't fucking fix this. He's like, can you believe these fucking assholes, like talking to a fucking picture of a Cadillac. And the engine like spits at him, like spits oil at him, and like he's just like, you bitch, and like having conversations with they fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, they're 100% having sex. So
it makes sense. It's all tracking.
Yeah, so we have Heavy Metal is the only one on the tug now. Everybody else is on the wreck.
Okay.
And we cut to Gabe walking through the murky, croupy hallways of the boat. And he's in a black peacoat. And I ask you, I think Gabriel Byrne might have something written into his rider that's like, I have to have one scene in a black wool peacoat.
Yeah, has Gabriel Byrne ever not worn a black peacoat?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Usual Suspects, black peacoat. Hereditary, black peacoat. Every other thing I've seen him in, black peacoat. I mean, my mind's eye picture of Gabriel Byrne is him in a fucking black peacoat.
Of course. I wonder, I mean, I guess when you know what looks good on you, you make that happen in your life.
I'm going to see if I can research, like, if he's literally been in a black peacoat for, like, everything. That would be, I wonder if that's out there somewhere. All right, so Jules is now by herself. She's in like the pool room, the pool, like swimming pool, not like billiard pool
room. Wow.
Yeah. And obviously the pool is empty, but she sees something along the wall of the pool, of the inside of the pool. And so she jumps down. there's going to be a lot of cutting back and forth to different parts of the boat, just so you know.
Okay.
So we cut to Butch and Dodge, and they're heading to the main engine room. And nobody appears to be hearing each other on the walkie-talkie because we see people trying to come in so-and-so, and like nobody's really answering.
Okay.
So there's something weird happening with the signal. We cut to Greer and Gabe. They find the captain's quarters, and they kind of like look at the door, and Greer walks off, and Gabe goes into the captain's quarters. Where presumably captain's log, sure, take a look. Cut back to Jules in the pool.
I was thinking, captain's log.
I know you were.
Today was a great fuck. Captain's log.
Yep, I put my captain's log right into the fuel pipe.
And man, did it feel good.
Yep.
Captain's log. The boat was tired tonight. It had a headache.
And scene. So, cut to Jules back at the pool. And we see that the thing she saw was like a little hole in the wall of the pool. And she looks at the hole and then like looks down. And there's a shell casing of a bullet on the ground. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so. Shell casing.
So she's like, that's fucking weird. And then she kind of sees that there's like multiple bullet holes like in the wall of the pool.
Interesting.
So then we see her go and she starts climbing back up the ladder. Little girl! Oh. And she falls back off the ladder, knocked out.
Oh, no.
So now we cut to Greer walking by himself. Now we cut to Gabe in the captain's quarters. They're basically just showing us that they're all in different parts of the boat.
Okay. And they're all basically alone, it sounds like, at this point?
Except for Dodge and Butcher.
Okay.
They're together. So Gabe is in the captain's quarters. He finds, like, the captain's hat, and he picks it up. And then he, like, puts it on his head, looks in the mirror, and looks down in the sink, and there's a bloody straight razor in the sink. And he's like, what the fuck? So then we cut back to Greer, and he appears to be looking like way, way down a shaft of some elevator shaft, possibly.
Okay.
He's like looking down. We cut to Butch and Dodge, and they've found the main engine room. And they realize that they have to dive into the water that has flooded the main engine room to get to the tear. So they start calling Jules, and they're like, the engine room is flooded. She doesn't answer. So now we cut back to her in the pool. She's waking up, and there's blood from her head, like, on the floor of the pool. Mm-hmm. And it actually gets, like, we see that the blood, like, gets sucked back in to the shell casing of the bullet. But,
to the shell casing? What the fuck?
And so she kind of like wakes up and she points her flashlight like where the little girl was. And she's like, wait. But like, obviously the girl's gone. Like she doesn't know how long she was knocked out. And suddenly Newbie is there to like help her up. And as they leave the pool room, we see that blood starts dripping from all of the bullet holes in the pool. So now we cut back. No. It's not going great. It's not going great. And I feel like their greed is making it so that they're not seeing emergencies. So now we cut to Gabe back in the captain's quarters. And we see that not only is there still like a quarter of a bottle of liquor sitting on like the captain's desk, there's also a half full tumbler of whiskey or highball glass of whiskey. So he picks it up to smell or drink it. I'm unclear. And he looks in the mirror again. Captain is in the mirror. So Gabe drops the glass and leaves, runs out. So now we cut back to Jules and Newbie. And I seriously almost asked, I was like, do you drink it? That's one of the questions. Cut back to Jules and Newbie. And she's like, I think I'm losing my mind, but there are like bullet holes in the pool everywhere. And so they leave. And as they're walking out, we see that the pool is filling with blood. It's like half full of blood. And I was like, do you not, to fill a pool that quickly, there's a sound of rushing liquid. And I'm like, do you not hear this pool filling with liquid? They do not. They are, unless it's ghost blood.
It's a ghost ship.
Yeah, it might be silent ghost blood. So they leave because the pool's behind them.
Oh, no. I don't feel good about this, Catherine.
You shouldn't. So then the camera goes into the blood in the pool.
Oh.
And we see bodies floating in it.
No. Are they connected bodies or half bodies?
They're connected bodies.
Interesting.
They're connected bodies. Yeah. So now we cut back to Greer, and he's still trying to get his fucking walkie-talkie to work as he's walking around his area. Not working, but he hears singing coming through the walkie-talkie. Italian singing. So now we cut back to Dodge and Butch, and they are hearing it too through their walkie-talkie. And they think Jules is fucking with them, obviously.
Oh, no.
Because it's a woman's voice. There's no other woman.
Yeah.
Greer then comes to the lounge room. Party room. Let's say party room, because it's like it might have also been where they were dancing. I don't have a blueprint of the ship.
Right.
So this is where he comes to. Jules and Newbie are in another place in the boat. Oh, central laundry. So everybody is just kind of trying to find what needs to be repaired, where are the tears, like what's the lay of the land kind of thing situation. Yeah. So now they've found the central laundry room. And she's like, I need to check for some flooding situations in here. So there's another big door that's got one of the wheel openers.
Okay.
And she turns the wheel slightly and the entire door busts open and water comes rushing out at them and the water is filled with bodies.
No.
So all of these like probably like 6 bodies come floating at them.
I hate that.
It's bad.
Hate that.
It's
so
bad.
Much.
And I think I like in terms of like the least attractive decomp situation, saltwater decomp situations make the bodies the most scary and gross. Like,
oh my God.
Just really gross.
Rushing at you. Oh.
Yeah. And there's like a bloating situation, but then also the salt is preserving the meat in a way. It's a real shit show.
Oh God.
So Newbie and Jules are like, what the fuck? And they're like, how long have they been here? Because like they're not like they're bodies. They're not skeletons.
Yeah.
And so they're like
boats from like the 60s or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And so Jules and or Newbie is like, they look like they've been here for like a month or more.
That's not that long.
No. And so they're like, what do we do? So Kim, question 6, what do you do and what do they do?
I'm going to start by getting out of the dead body water.
Yes.
Wherever that is, I'm going to go there.
Yep.
And then I think we're going to go back to the tug.
Okay. I would like you to be Jules. I said them, but I'd like you to be Jules.
Okay. Great.
That was my fault. I wrote them. I meant Jules. So,
I mean, same for me though. Still, Jules. maybe Jules decides they need to find Gabe to talk about this situation.
You want to talk about this situation?
That's what Jules is doing.
It's 1.5. She doesn't not go to like get Gabe in on it, but that's not like the main thing of what she does. She's like, we need to call the Coast Guard. Like,
Oh, shit.
this is bad news bears. And Newbie is like, but what about the boat? And she's like, if it sinks, it sinks. Like,
Yeah. There's dead body water that we're swimming in right now.
yeah, like things have changed.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that things have changed for them because so far nothing had ever changed, no matter what happened. So
Yeah. Jules appears to have a moderately good head on her shoulders. So she's like, we need to call the Coast Guards because there's bodies in the water. And so they have to like get past all the bodies. And they go back up to the door they came through and it's closed.
no, I don't want to be locked inside dead body water.
Well, you're not locked inside dead body water. You just can't go out the door that you came through. They realize there's another way out. So they basically just have to go like deeper into the bows of the ship.
Whoa.
They find another door, creaks open. They go that way.
Okay.
So now Greer is back in the lounge party room. And there's a piano and a microphone and a cigarette smoking
No.
in an ashtray.
Stop it.
And the cigarette has red lipstick around the filter. And Greer picks it up and is like, when the fuck did Jules start wearing lipstick?
Right.
And then he turns and he sees a picture of the lady in red, like framed on the piano.
Yeah.
And of course he's like, nice titties. I'm like,
Rude.
barf. Also, she's like, whatever. However, I did write nice kitties, not titties.
You would. Freudian
I would.
slip. Freudian
Yeah.
slip.
So, did you say Freudian slip?
I said Freudian.
Fraudy. Oh, it's not that funny. So, he leaves. But we see, as he walks out, the lady in red comes out from around a corner smoking a cigarette.
Oh, shit.
So now we cut to Newbie and Jules, and they're in the cargo part of the ship. So it's like, I'm sailing from England to New York, but I got to bring my car with me. So this is where that would go. All the big luggage and shit like that. See what I'm saying?
Like a cars are actually there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like big cargo is in there. And so Newbie comes upon a Jaguar car in there and he's like, oh my God, like I love this car. And I'm like, we got another fucking car fucker here. Like people need, like, it's getting people into trouble at this point.
Yeah, it really
You know
is.
what I mean?
We need to talk about it.
Yeah. And so she's like, we gotta go, dude. Like, we gotta get out of here. And then they hear something like rustling under a bunch of mail bags. And they're like, what is that? So they go over and they like move the mail out of the way. And it's a crate. And they open the crate. Rats! Rats, 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 rats all over the place. And Jules is like, I hate rats. But then the rats scurry away. And underneath is many, many, many gold bullion.
Gold.
Literal treasure. And there are many crates that all look the same. So they're like, we rich, bitch! Like, they are stoked. So Jules sees it and she's like, oh my God, we have to find Gabe. Now she goes to her walkie-talkie and she's like, Gabe, come in. Nothing is happening, but the walkie-talkie starts whispering, and Newbie's like, who dat is? And Jules is like, Maureen, that's my first name.
No, shut up.
So they head into the galley. Wow, I wrote galley with such confidence, but I don't know what that is.
Kitchen?
Is it?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Oh, yeah, the kitchen. Great. Okay.
We can
They must have
postmortem
said
it, but I think yes.
Yeah, but galley.
From my
no, it's right,
fucking
'cause-
times, it was a kitchen.
It is, because now they're saying that they're hearing something coming from the freezer. So, yes, that is what it was.
Nailed it.
Yep. So the voice is saying, it's cold and lonely. They see the freezer. Newbie says, don't go in there. So she goes in there. And it's like all of these like meat sacks hanging. So it's like clearly it was like, you know, meat hanging on hooks for everyone to eat. But they're in these like white sort of like look like cheesecloth bags.
Okay.
So they're extra creepy because they look like ghost meat.
Ghost meat.
Yeah. It was unpleasant. And so she's like going through like trying to find the voice that's saying her name. And all of a sudden one of the meat ghosts moves and she's like, ah! And she like runs out. It's Dodge and Butcher.
Fuck you.
Covered in ghost meat. And they're like laughing and she's like, and they're like, you fuck with us, we're gonna fuck with you. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, because they thought she was doing the singing.
Yeah.
And
she's
the
like,
cigarette thing.
And the cigarette and the Maureen, all that. They were all hearing it. And so she's like,
Oh, I thought they were doing that to her.
it was coming over the walkie-talkie. But then it was like, I'm pretty sure the Maureen was, doesn't matter. Regardless, they thought she was fucking with them. So,
But I thought that
they're
was
like-
fucking with them, fucking with her back, was them saying Maureen over the walkie.
that's unclear to me. I thought it was coming from over the walkie-talkie, but now that you're saying this right now, I'm like, maybe the whole thing was coming from that. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying they were doing it over the walkie-talkie.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. So
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying.
I didn't either, apparently. So anyway, she's like, I wasn't fucking with you. Also, we just found a bunch of dead bodies in the laundry room. So like shit's getting real. Like it's not time for jokes. And then also we found a bunch of gold in the cargo hold. And they're like, I did not hear this dead body thing you say. I did hear gold. Mm-hmm. So now we cut to all of them in the cargo. Gabe is opening up another crate, and it's just more gold. It's just so much gold bullion. Just gold, 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 gold. And they're all elated, and they're like, we're rich. And I wrote, this is pirate territory. Like, they are straight up finding, like, gold treasure.
Yeah.
Straight up. So now we cut to them stacking gold and shit, you know, counting it, seeing how much is there. And they're like, how much do you think this is worth? And Gabe is like 200 or 300 million, probably.
What?
So much gold. So Greer points out, which I didn't think of, he's like, all little gold bullions have like serial numbers on them.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, this is like very weird because like we would have heard if there was like this much gold that just disappeared. So like
Interesting.
clearly this is not on the up and up gold, if you will.
Interesting.
Because that's when Dodge points out, he's like, all of the serial numbers have been shaved off, so it's not traceable.
Oh, shit.
Which works for them,
100%.
but
They're like,
yeah.
great.
So Greer's like, this boat's fucked up though. Like, there's some shit happening. He's like, this was lost in 1962, but those bodies are from like a month ago. So what the fuck? And he's like, also, I heard a beautiful voice singing to me. And they all laugh at him and they're like, maybe you're not ready to get married, Greer. Like, just whatever. And so now they're like, okay, so what do we do? Jules is like, I think we should call the Coast Guard because shit's getting real. They don't want to, obviously. Gabe says maritime law states that it's finders keepers. And they're all just like trying to, discussing amongst themselves what the next step is. So Kim, what do you do with yourself and the boat and the gold? And what do they do with themselves and the boat and the gold?
I think I'm going to bring a bunch of the gold to the tugboat and call the Coast Guard.
Okay. How much of the gold, like in terms of how you would transport it?
This just depends how heavy. It's probably heavy, right?
It's heavy. And there's like dozens of crates of it with like multiple gold bullion in each crate.
Right. Bullion. What's the definition of bullion?
I think it means like brick because also there's like chicken broth bouillon.
That's the only bouillon I can think of.
And it's the only thing that has in common with a gold bouillon is that it's a cube.
Shaped.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'd like a couple mil each. How much is a gold? What's the money transfer per bullion?
I don't know.
So,
but, whatever you can stuff your pockets with, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like a couple mil each. And then call a Coast Guard.
Okay.
Maybe they're going to try to do the same, but take all of it, like in trips, multiple trips.
Yeah. So basically, they now have come to the conclusion, fuck the boat, let's take the gold.
Okay.
So they are going to load all of the gold onto the tug.
Okay.
Cut to them on the tugboat. Gabe tells Greer, he's like, let's get the engine going while they get the crates on. Greer tells Heavy Metal, fire up the engine. They're all super excited. We see all of this happening. So like Jules is still on the wreck. Heavy Metal and Greer are definitely on the tug. The other guys, I think, are mostly on the tug, but also just kind of going back and forth between. Okay. So as this is happening, we as the audience see in the tugboat engine room a knob to a gas tank turning.
Uh-oh.
On the ship where Jules is, she's getting a crate together. The little ghost girl appears again. And this time she's running and screaming. And she's like, stop! You don't know what you're doing. Cut to Heavy Metal smelling gas. Cut to Ghost Girl saying, don't start the boat. And then she kind of like falls into the ether and screams away, kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
Question 8, Jules, what do you do right that second and what does she do?
Okay, little girl said, stop.
Don't start the boat.
Okay, I guess I'm going to walkie and run. Walkie and runny.
Walkie and runny.
To the tug. I don't know. I'm trusting Ghost Girl. I don't know why, but I am.
Okay.
To tell them not to start the ship. And what does Jules do? Hand in hand. Let's do it hand in hand.
That's 2 half points.
Okay.
Walkie immediately. Walkie that shit. You gotta don't start the boat. You got a half point only because what's about to happen to the tugboat, you probably want to be as far away from that as possible.
Eek.
Jules got a half a point because she does kind of try to make her way to the tugboat, but at no point do I see her walkie to say, hey, I just got some like intel about the fact that you probably shouldn't start the boat. And I know that we're super far away from each other. Good thing we have these walkie-talkies so I can relay a message to you quickly.
Yeah, it just seemed like the walkies keep not working, so.
But let's give it a shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Walk before you run. Am I right?
When you're right, you're right. I don't even want you to see yourself out for that one.
Thank you.
That was just good logic. So we're now seeing quick cuts of heavy smelling gas, Jules running up to the top of the wreck to like look out at the tugboat, totally freaked out. So she was kind of like below deck and she kind of is like, the little girl said something. So she's got a front seat view to Greer, hits the start button, and the whole engine room blows up.
Oh, no.
Heavy metal goes flying off the boat in flames.
Heavy metal, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Heavy Metal's family is going to be so upset.
So upset. It's going to be a really tough holiday season for them.
He's the first
honestly
Heavy Metal we've lost.
He is. Yeah. R.I.P.
Very sad about this.
So Jules, I guess she hadn't run up to the top. You know what? I'm going to give you a full point because I got the timing of that difference. She didn't run up to the top. So that's a full point for you.
I thought of I should have said walkie before you're runny. That would have been better.
It would have. It would have. You failed.
Yeah, I thought of that like directly after, but then you were talking and I was like, that's too late. But I needed to get it out because otherwise I couldn't stop thinking about it.
I hear you. I hear you. And I appreciate you finding space in your attention to hear my story. So I appreciate it. So she hears the explosion, then runs up to the side of the boat. And Heavy, Greer, and Butcher are all blown off the tugboat. Now the whole thing explodes, the whole boat, not just the engine room. No. Now they're all in the ocean. They manage to get everyone out except for Heavy. Heavy's donezo.
I'm so sad.
And the ghost girl is just watching from the ship. Like, bitch, I told you. So now we cut to Greer, Newbie, Butcher, Gabe, and Dodge. They're on the wreck now. Tugboat is kaput.
That's all there is, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Dodge straight up blames Newbie for Heavy's death because he's just like, you're the reason we're here. And they like pull Dodge off of him and they're just kind of like, this isn't whatever.
Yeah.
So now we cut to them around a barrel fire, like keeping themselves warm. And Jules comes up to Gabe. Gabe feels responsible for everything and like he kind of walks away and he's really upset. Jules is like, okay, I got to take over because like the over what my Balmer accent just came out like real hard when I said that. And she's like, okay, we have to do this and this and this. So basically we have to fix it enough that we fix the rudder enough that we can control the drift of the boat to miss the islands so that we can survive until somebody finds us and picks us up.
I hate this.
Greer says, I hate this. Let's build a raft.
Oh.
Question 9, fix or raft? And who's going on the raft? And what's going on the raft?
I think raft.
Okay.
I like raft for me.
Okay.
And what am I saying for them?
what are you doing as them? Are you gonna pool your resources to fix the wreck, or are you going to build a raft that will definitely not run into rocks, but you're also like on the open water?
Just don't know why they wouldn't raft.
I mean,
I guess I see.
they're on a raft in the middle of the ocean. It's not completely sans danger.
Sure, but I feel like they're boat people. Like
They are boat people.
We know how to do this. I don't know.
And they don't appear to be ghost people. So one is ghost, one does not.
But yeah, I think that either one of two things happen. I think they either stay or they also try to raft, and that's a failure and come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up Castaway style.
I think they stay.
Double dang. Get off this boat. Get off this boat. Like,
I just don't like the fix it so we survive to wait for God. Like, this has been here since the 60s. So
yeah. Also, like, your dude that does a ton of fixing of engines just got blowed up. So
yeah.
They also, so they're like, let's build a raft. Everyone's like, but what about the gold? They're like, how are we going to fit 5 people
gold
and a bunch of gold on a fucking raft? And so Jules is also like, rafts aren't like, we could just be fucking life of pi out there for God knows how long.
right.
So she's like, Butcher, you're the best spot welder I know. Meaning he can weld up the tear. And Butch is like, I can't like see, or I don't want to, or this sucks, all of the above, whatever. And so they're like, why don't we at least wait until the AM when we can see better? Because it's nighttime right now. And Greer gets pissed that they like are all listening to Jules and not him when Gabe isn't around, because Greer is like, I'm the first mate.
Okay, sure.
But like, you know, and he's like, if we had just did what I said, we'd all be on our way home and be millionaires by now. Cause he's like, I wanted to call this in. We'd have help. We'd have other tugboats. Like this, like y'all done fucked up. And so they all start fighting and shit. Now we cut to the pool room and the ghost girl is dancing. Like as if she's dancing with someone, but no one's there. We cut to Gabe alone in the captain's quarters, freaking out. He grabs the bottle of liquor and a glass and drinks. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess alcohol is self-preserving, but also ew. Jules is going back through the passenger log. She found like a passenger log. Just go with me. It was a little bit of a suspension of disbelief where I was like, how did you get this information? We just see her hand going down. She's like, her name's Katie. She figured out that the ghost name is Katie based on the log. Whatever. I don't know how she did that.
That probably she was had maybe ages or something.
Maybe ages. Maybe that she, yeah. So she sees that she was on B deck and that she boarded alone. That she was by herself.
Oh, interesting.
So now we cut to Dodge and Butcher, and they're doing rock, paper, scissors to see who will take the first bite of a bunch of canned food that they found, like canned beans. And they're just like, rock, paper, scissors. So, like, you don't know how rock, paper, scissors goes. I don't know.
Got it.
Yeah. Now we cut back to Greer. He's beating himself up for not calling it in and just, like, doing it.
Right.
And he's talking to the picture of the lady in red. So he's losing it a little bit. Cut back to Dodge and Butcher eating beans out of the can, and they love it. They're like, this is delicious. This worked out great.
Great.
And so they're just like stuffing their face. Cut to Jules looking in the guest cabins. So she's now in like a long hallway where all the guest cabins are, and looking for the room where Katie was in. And then all of a sudden, all of the doors slam, 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 slam. Except for one door at the very end of the hallway that slowly opens. And she hears humming of a little girl inside.
Katie? Hi.
Cut back to Dodge and Butch stuffing their faces, and they're like, this is so good. Oh, Dodge, you got a little something on your mouth. They look down. They had been eating maggots, and they just have maggots pouring out of their mouth.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was
No.
Yeah. It was ghost beans. You were eating ghost beans, and they were actually maggots.
I hate maggots. I really, they
Are upsetting.
I have ant PTSD, but if that was maggots, I would have burned my apartment down. And to be honest, myself, I
Honestly, I would like COVID be damned. I would have come in and like carried you like a damsel in distress out of your apartment. And run.
I would have needed to burn my skin off though, because they're on me.
Yeah, they're on you forever until you burn your skin.
Forever.
Yeah,
That's the maggot rules.
Yep. And Dodge and Butcher are very familiar with maggot rules now because they are just all in their mouth. Ugh. So now we cut back to Jules, and she's going into the guest quarter, and the door kind of squeaks behind her. She finds some dolls.
So she's going into the door that was open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And she finds some dolls and some little girl clothes and pictures that were drawn on the wall and stuff like that. Another cool.
Cool.
I don't know. Sets flashlight on the suitcase, and she's looking at the drawings. And then the closet door starts to open. Hanging skeleton.
Oh no.
Of the little girl
Oh,
in her dress.
No.
She was hung in the closet.
Oh no. Because she was the only one left alive.
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking devastating.
Yeah. So now we cut back to Greer.
I wasn't realizing that until you said she puts the flashlight down, that like this is dark. The whole place is dark.
Dark, and also like the creepiness of water where it like casts light around you that wiggles. It's very creep town. It's
I
creep
don't know
town.
why in my brain this non-working ghost ship had electricity.
It has no electricity, unlike phones, which I learned from all of our fucking Sammies that phones do in fact need power.
It makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes sense. Yeah. So, so now we cut back to Greer in the lounge room. And I guess I said he was drinking because he appears to be like holding a bottle of champagne. Maybe I guess there's still like, liquor around. And as he's walking through, we see that all of the tables and chairs start to put themselves back together again around him. And then the chandelier puts itself back together and goes back up into the ceiling.
And this is Gabe, you said?
Greer.
Oh, and he is seeing it, or we're only us or so? Okay, great.
He's seeing it.
Cool,
Yeah.
Cool.
And chandeliers put back together. And people appear.
Hello.
And they're all applauding him.
Good.
And they're
Thank
all in
you.
there. Yeah. Thank you. I have a ghost audience. Here they are.
So kind.
And he says, thank you. And then the lady in red appears on the stage. And he's like...
And then they fuck.
Hold that thought.
Oh, no. Did
Yeah.
I see this movie?
He's like, you look like one fine piece of boat.
Hey,
So now we cut to Gabe. And he's asleep / passed out on the captain's desk. And he's woken up by hearing the bottle slide across the table. And he wakes up. The captain's there.
hello, Captain.
Would you like another drink? And Gabe is like, sure. So the captain refills his drink. Cut back to the lady in red, and she takes the bottle from Greer's hand, and she starts dancing with him. And all the people are just watching them dance. They make a lovely couple. They really do. And then she kisses his cheek. Kim, question 10. Into it? You? Him? What you gonna do?
Me no. What? He's a ghost. What the fuck? He seems to have gotten real Jack Nicholson in The Shining real quick.
Real quick.
So, yeah, I think he wants to fuck that ghost.
Double ding. He says, like a real piece of shit, I know this isn't real, so I'm gonna go with it. It's not cheating if you're a dead girl. Gross.
Boo. Boo.
Yeah. So he kisses her. Eric, I know that you're going to be editing this. I just wanted to put something on the table. Fucking a ghost, still cheating. I know that we hadn't covered that yet in our marriage. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah,
Thank
that's why I have an
you.
80s ghost boyfriend.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
in a committed relationship.
Yeah,
Excuse
totally.
me.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like it's really
Not
like,
real. Fuck
and
you.
it's kind of bigoted to be like, just because you're a ghost, like,
Yeah,
you don't count.
matter.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. So,
Rude.
yeah, Greer, it is.
So sorry, 80s ghost boyfriend. Don't listen to this.
Yeah,
It's not
so
true.
rude.
You are magical and wonderful and the best thing in my life, to be honest.
And you're real. I mean, you're not real because you're a ghost, but like you're real.
He's very real.
Yeah, but like not real, but like real. Yeah. Okay.
In
So
my world, he's all I fucking have, so he's very real.
Yeah. Well, you and Greer. So he is
I'm
like,
very
okay.
alone in my apartment. It's just me and 80s ghost. Do you not
get you-
understand that?
Let's get you a ghost ship. Party time.
Yeah, I'd like
Excellent. So now we cut to Jules. Now we cut to Jules, and she's looking at the necklace around the neck of the skeleton, and it's a little locket. And she takes it off, and she opens it up, and it's two grown-ups inside. We can assume it's her parents. And the ghost appears behind her, and she's like, please don't close it. I don't think she has a British accent, but it started to come out like that. And she's like, I haven't seen it in years. She's like, I was on my way to be with them. They were in New York. Now they're dead now.
Sad.
And Jules says, how do you know that they're dead? I'm like, well, I mean, I guess they might not be 40 years later. And she's like, when you're dead, you know these things.
Oh.
And she's like, my mother made me this dress. Do you like it? And she says, you remind me of her. So then Jules is like, you should have this back. And she like goes to hand the locket back to her, and it goes right through her hand. And Jules is like, oh, fuck, you really are a ghost. And so now we cut to Greer and the red lady, and the red lady is walking away. And as she walks away, she's looking over her shoulder at Greer and unzipping her beautiful dress.
Damn.
Cut to Gabe and the captain ghost. And Gabe is drunkenly sad about Heavy, and Captain hands him a folder with pictures in it. And it shows another ship that almost sunk. It's like a picture of like a halfway out of the water ship. Mm-hmm. And we learn that this wreck that we're currently on found that wreck 2 days before this wreck disappeared.
Interesting.
So Gabe is like, but there were no... He appears to see the boat and he's like, oh, the Lorelei. Like, so I guess he just like knows all the missing ships. And he's like, but there were no survivors aboard the Lorelei. And the captain holds up one finger. He's like, just one. And then he hands Gabe a picture. We don't see what the picture is, but we just see Gabe go, what the fuck?
What?
Cut to Red Lady taking off her dress, and we see bloobs. Do we see any man nips? Nope. Par for the course. 2 lady nips, no man nips.
No dick and balls. Rude.
No dick and balls. Nothing. Just 2 lady nips. So he's like, hey, where are you going? And Greer keeps following. Question 11. She continues to walk. What do you do and what does Greer do?
He follows.
Like she's ducking around corners now and being like,
come. I think he follows because he's all in for this ghost cheating situation. Yeah. And I would never cheat on my 80s ghost boyfriend, so I'm going to not and go find human lives.
Double ding. He keeps following her around every corner she goes around, and we see that it's a wreck again. Like every time he kind of like leaves the room, like we see that this was all an illusion, you know? Mm-hmm. And now she's just naked with red elbow-length gloves on, and I'm like, that is a Luke. I am into it. She's got like her jewels on and just naked with red. I was like, okay, yes, I'm into it.
Queen.
So now we cut back to Jules with Ghost Girl, and Katie, Ghost Girl, is like, most spirits are free to be with their families, but we're all trapped here. And Jules is like, why aren't you with yours? And she's like, my shipmates and I, even the ones that aren't marked, are stuck here. And Jules says, marked? And Katie says, when he has all his souls and he's filled his quota, we'll all be ferried. Then Katie looks up at the ceiling and gets scared because it's sort of like turning into like blood veins, like coming out of the lights. And she's like, oh no, he doesn't want me talking to you like this. Jules can't see it. Like, she's like, what are you saying? And what are you screaming about? Yeah. Katie is terrified, and she holds up her hand and is like, I'm not like the others. Holds up her hand, shows her a palm. I'm not like the others. And he doesn't want me talking to you. She's like, you must go at once. Leave the ship while you still can. She screams and disappears. And so Jules is like looking for her and like, where did you go? Where did you go?
Okay, so she said, even the ones that aren't marked are also stuck here.
Yes.
And once he gets enough souls, we will be
ferried away.
As in shipped, not turned into fairies.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Not turned into Ferried.
Okay. Okay.
So.
Oh, man, that's okay. Whew.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Information. It's a lot of information, but none of it
helps right now.
Completely know what it means. Okay.
I mean, and also, but she also was like, forget the mystery I just laid out for you.
And get the fuck out.
The point is get off the ship.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Gabe is now calling for Jules in the pool, being like, we have to leave. We have to get out of here. Because remember, Gabe got some information over with the captain. So he's like, we got to get out of here as well.
That picture or whatever.
That picture. Exactly. We don't know what it is yet. And he's like running through the pool. Heavy appears right in front of him. And he's like all burned and fucked up. And Heavy is like, it was no fun down at the bottom of the ocean. No bright lights for me. And he like every time Gabe like tries to run away, Heavy Metal is like right in front of him being like, where you going, bitch? Like Heavy Metal is an upset ghost for sure. And he's like, now I'm trapped on this dreamboat and you're coming with me for the ride. Cut to Greer taking his shirt off. Oh, so we do see man nips. We got 2 man nips. We got Greer's man nips. He's with the lady in red. He takes his shirt off. Red is naked. He goes to grab her around, like to be like, hey, but she's a ghost. So he falls forward down the elevator shaft and is impaled. Oh, shit. She then looks down, turns around, and she's not pretty anymore. She's all fucking fucked up.
Oh my gosh. So wait, he like whoop, 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 fell backwards and then
Fell forward.
Oh, no.
She was standing right the fuck in front of an elevator shaft and he was like, what?
Oh, I see. Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
She was like, goodbye.
Okay.
So now Jules is running through the halls. So is Gabe. Gabe turns and sees Jules, but he sees her as heavy. Like the ghost is
Okay.
is like fucking with him. So he starts attacking Jules.
Oh, no.
And Jules is like, what are you doing? And they're like fighting each other, trying to fight each other off. Jules manages to knock Gabe out. Okay? Because he like keeps attacking her. He gets knocked out. She's like, phew. But then he gets up and he's like about to attack her again. Newbie comes out from somewhere and knocks Gabe out for her. And is just kind of like, what's going on? What's happening? Mm-hmm. Question 12. What do you do with Gabe and what did they do with Gabe? Who's knocked out and apparently attacking people at random.
Right. I think we're both going to like tie him to a chair somewhere to just make sure when he wakes up that we can have a nice talky talk before.
Okay. 1 point. Yes. Tie him to a chair. Something where he can be restrained, but also easily accessible. What they do is on this ship, there is a giant tubular aquarium that goes from the bottom to the top. Okay. So it's like a 3-story aquarium that like whatever floor you're on, you can see it, you know, but it's
lovely.
It looks very posh, distinguished, lovely. They put him down at the bottom of the fucking aquarium. So I'm like, A, how you getting this bitch back up? B, why not just tie him to a chair is exactly what I said. But they don't.
Seems a bit aggressive. Like,
yeah,
he's still Gabe.
Yeah. And so they're like, he'll be safe in there in this locked 3-story all the way down at the bottom aquarium on this ghost ship. So Jules is like, he was drunk, and they're like, he tried to kill you. She's like, he didn't know. And then they're like, well, okay, like, we'll leave him down there to sober up. Let's go. She's like, I'm going to go find Greer. Cut to sunrise, and we see that the Rocky Islands are even closer. I wrote, cut to them not finding Greer. So I guess they haven't found Greer yet. But Newbie is with Jules and is like, do you think someone poisoned the passengers to get the gold? Because I guess there's no, like, stabbed skeletons. Like, where are the passengers still kind of thing? So he's like, how could they have been killed? And she's like, yeah, maybe. And, I guess Dodge is with them too. So it's Newbie, Dodge, and Jules. And they see that she's wearing the girl's locket. And she's like, yeah, this is from the ghost that I saw. And she told me to get off the boat. And they're all kind of like, so the ghost is like talking to you now? Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah. And Butcher at this point is like, okay, now I like, let's build a raft. And Dodger is like, how are we going to fit 5 people, one of whom is like weekend at Bernie's right now, and $200 to $300 million worth of gold heavy bullion? on a raft that we're
so they're
going to
all
make.
together at this point. Everyone who's left.
Yes, except for Gabe, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's
Gabe's
Dodge,
in the
Butcher,
hole.
Jules, and Newbie.
Dodge, Butcher, Jules, and Newbie. Okay.
Yeah. This is where Butch is like, let's build a raft. Dodge is like, how are we going to get 5 people in a weekend at Bernie's and some gold bullion on a raft? Kim, you're Jules, and you're basically the captain now because Gabe's drunk and Greer is, we don't know yet. So what do you tell them we're going to do, and what do you tell them? What does she tell them? You get it. You've done this before.
I have. Thank you. I am going to build the raft and get the fuck out and fuck the gold. Like
Not have sex with the gold.
no,
say,
excuse me.
Fuck
That's
you to the gold.
a valid question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the gold to fuck right the fuck off.
Got it.
Like, can we just let go of the gold at this point? Like, I get it. Like, I don't know. Maybe we each grab a brick or two. Like,
Yeah.
put it in your pockets. But like, I'm not worrying about the 6 million cases anymore. Like, that's
Yeah.
like,
And I love that. Put a couple in your pocket.
yeah. Take some gold if you know what I mean. I get it. I get it. I
Yeah.
want some gold too. But like, let's have a rule. Whatever you can carry, bring that on. But that's it. We're out.
Guess
We're done.
who can't spend gold? Dead people.
Dead people. Yeah. So, but get the fuck out, especially since Katie told me to.
Yeah. And what does Jules do?
I think Jules. I think Jules is like, we need to get on the raft as well.
Jules does not necessarily say anything about the gold, but she doesn't think a raft is a good idea. So she says, no, we're fixing the boat. She's sticking with fixing the boat. And I'm like,
But the ghost girl told you to
ghost
get the
told
fuck
you.
out.
yes, the ghost girl literally only told you to get off the boat. And you're now in charge telling people to stay on the boat.
Like, ghosts are speaking to you.
Yes.
You are seeing them and talking to them.
Yes.
And they're telling you to get the fuck off the boat.
Yes.
I just
And
feel
she's-
like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we're in extreme times. The ghosts
yes.
are telling you to get off the fucking boat. Like,
And listen, I get it. I get that, like, putting yourself onto a rickety jickety raft in the middle of the ocean
yeah,
is not foolproof.
sure.
But the
You're boat
ghost
people.
told you to get off.
And you're boat people.
Yeah.
Come on. Believe in yourself. This is an entire tale of just disrespect of ghosts.
I
just
couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more.
Wow. It's very
So-
offensive. I'm not even going to let 80s ghosts listen to this one.
I don't think you should. I think it'll just be really triggering.
It's just,
You know,
it's just-
unnecessary.
It's just rude and mean for
Yeah.
no reason.
I agree.
People,
I agree.
all people care about is gold and not ghost.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking
What are your priorities?
Aesop's fable up in here.
Right? Aesop's fable of ghosts and gold. Yeah. So Jules is like, we're going to stick with the plan. We're going to fix the boat. Cut to them scuba-ing into the engine room. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they wired some underwater dynamite to the door to like blow some shit open because they got to get places or whatever. And they find the tear.
The tear.
And so then we see Butch welding up the tear.
Okay.
Jules says, I fixed the rudder somehow magically. And they say it should hold. They're starting up the engine. They should have about 12 hours of fuel left. Belief suspended. Just go with it. Okay. So Jules is at the wheel. The compass is now working. I mean, the compass might have been, maybe the ghosts are running the compass. I don't know. I don't know how ghost compass work, but she sees the island and she's like, the current is strong, but if we can guide the boat at this direction, we should clear the island. So basically, like, the engine's not running super well, but, like, she's turned the rudder so it can kind of go like this on the current.
Okay.
And Dodge says, we may just make it off this boat yet. And Butcher says, gazillionaires. And Jules says, for them to keep watch, I'm going to go back down and look for Greer, because I still don't know where the fuck Greer is.
Oh, right. Okay.
Cut to Sunrise Islands. Cut to Jules looking for Greer down below. And she sees Katie at the end of a hallway. And so she's like, what's up? And Katie's like, come over here.
Katie's like, bitch, what did I tell you?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, now you listen to me. Now you come when oh, fuck you, bitch. And she's like, but here's your friend. And there's Greer impaled at the bottom of the elevator shaft.
Oh.
And also a picture of his fiance is like also impaled on a stake. And I was like, that's what you get. Cheating with ghosts is cheating. Mm-hmm. Cut to Dodge and Butch, and one of the tubes is clogged. So basically what they're trying to do is like suction a bunch of water out of shit. Because, you know, the less water is in your boat, the better, I hear.
I think that's how boats work.
Yeah. So one of the tubes like gets clogged. And so they do rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors again to see who goes down to fix the clog. Okay. So we cut to Jules and Katie again. And she's like, and Katie says, can I show you something? And Jules is like, sure. What you got? So now Katie puts her ghost hand on Jules, and Jules is transported to see all the shit that happened.
Oh, shit.
So here's what we see. This is all quick flashes. And the music cue was strange. It basically, if you can listen to the soundtrack to Ocean's 11 is kind of what we're listening to right now as we're watching this happen.
Okay.
So, puts her hand on her. So transports her back to that night. We're in the kitchen. And we see cooks putting rat poison into the soup. Cut to a bunch of people throwing up. Cut to the wire slicing everyone. Katie sees herself scream and kind of like winces. And then they sort of like run by two guys and they see someone's throat get slit. So they're just kind of seeing all of this play out. Cut to guys shooting a bunch of people that they've put into the pool and they execute them. Cut to Katie being taken away by two mobster dudes and hung in the closet.
Oh, no. I thought she was the only one left and she hung herself. But
Me too.
So basically people like attacked the boat.
Yeah. And this was like planned out because it was like the cooks and the servers and everyone.
So they poison people, and it's quite a plan to be like, let's rig this wire to slice people in half.
Right?
Good Lord.
Yeah. So cut to mobsters finding the gold crates.
I guess that makes sense though, because I was wondering. I was like, wait, so like everyone on the boat was on that dance floor and got sliced in half except for Kate, you know, so that does make sense. Yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. So mobsters find the gold. Lady in red is there, and she's like clearly like in on it. And she's just like, ha, ha, ha. And she's clearly like fucking one of the dudes.
Right.
And then that dude like shoots down all of the other dudes to be like, it's just our gold now, baby. No dialogue. We're just watching all of this.
Yeah.
But then she turns around and she shoots him.
Oh,
She's like,
double cross after
now,
double
baby.
cross.
Yeah. And so she's the last one standing with all the gold in the world, except for one dude in the shadows. The dude comes over and we can't really see his face. He kisses her. And then we see a giant hook that hangs things in boats. I don't know. Comes flying across and he hooks it into her neck like a fucking fish, like where her gills would be, and then hangs her like that.
Wow.
And so she's hanging like a fucking fish on a hook. And then he takes her hand and he grabs it. And we hear like a sizzling sound. He takes it away and there's a brand, a mark on her hand now that's an anchor. Marked. The guy turns to walk out. It's Newbie.
Newbie! I knew it was Newbie. I was like, when do I get to guess? When do I get to guess who the picture was?
It's Newbie. So now, Jules, after she's seen this whole thing play out, she runs to the aquarium to be like, I think Gabe is in trouble. Sure enough, it's full of water and he's floating in it.
Oh no, Gabe.
And in his hand is the picture that the captain gave him. And it's a picture of Newbie.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah. So she starts trying to break the glass. She can't, obviously. She's crying. Katie is looking on at her, also crying. So now we cut to Butcher underwater, diving, looking for the clog because he lost rock, paper, scissors, swimming through, looking for the clog. Cut to Dodger upstairs. And Jules is like, comes in and she's like, we got to get off this ship, Dodge. Gabe is dead. And she's like, that's why the three of us are still alive. He wanted us to fix his ship.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Newbie then comes in and is like, I just saw Gabe. What's happening? And Jules says, I don't know, but you and Dodge stay at the rudder. Don't let each other out of each other's sight. And Dodge goes, but I thought you said he. And
no.
She's like, stay. And she's like, don't get out of each other's sight. I'm getting Butcher. Okay? Because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's down there. Cut to Butcher. We see him get caught on something. And it's pulled in kind of like the wire from the beginning. And he's sucked into some gear situation and ground up like a piece of meat.
Oh, no.
Goodbye. Cut to Jules calling for him, looks down. The hose is now sucking up red. And she sees his ground up body float up to the surface. So now we cut to Dodge and Newbie. And Newbie is like, I'm going to go check on Jules. And Dodge is like, no. She said to wait. She said we can't leave each other. Newbie then takes off his jacket and he turns away from Dodge and we see him kind of smile and he's like, you disgust me. She says jump and you jump. And he's like, I see how you look at her. Dodge then pulls out a shotgun and Newbie is like, when you kill someone, you go to hell. And he's like, you live for her. Are you ready to die for her? Question 14. What do you do and what does Dodge do right then?
I'm gonna shoot him. And he... Because has she told him the story?
Not the whole story.
But he was about to be like, he's da-da-da-da.
Well, what she said was, basically, she was like, he's behind this. He wanted us to fix his boat. But she wasn't like, he's a ghost and here's all the things that, like, she didn't go into detail about it.
Okay. I'm going to shoot him. I don't know what the fuck that'll do. Probably nothing, but whatever. Worth a try.
Let's
I
go
think
for it.
he's going to like confront him to be like, we know it's you. Blah, blah, blah.
0 points.
Great.
And this was a tough one because he gives you a clue like right this very second that hasn't really been talked about. It's a scriptural issue. Not like a biblical issue, like a script issue. Where he's like, when you kill someone, you go to hell. So basically, Dodge shoots him and he's now a sinner. Like, he's committed a grievous sin. Okay.
Okay.
So he can now be marked.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. So he shoots him. Dodge then walks over the body and walks over to the body, and his eyes are open like he's dead. Dodge leaves to go get Jules. Newbie's eye moves to look, so he's not dead. Cut to Jules trying to fix something, and we see explosives, and we see that she's holding a trigger in her hand. Dodge finds her and is like, Newbie is dead. And she's like, don't be so sure. And she's like, I'm sinking the boat. I'm sinking the boat. And Dodge is like, what about the gold?
Dude, fuck the gold.
So question 16, what do you do and what does Jules do right then?
I think that hand in hand, we are like, fuck the gold. Newbie's an evil ghost, demon, devil. I'm sinking the boat.
Yeah. So he's like, what about the gold? And she's like, we're not getting the gold off the boat. That's part of it. This isn't happening. And Dodge is like, no, we can take the gold and you and me, we can have a life together. And I'm like, bitch, how are you, what life? How are you getting off this fucking boat? And Jules is like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I can't let you do this. And she grabs the dynamite to be like, don't come any closer. I'm going to push the button. He gets super aggro and is like, fine, do it. And he throws the shotgun in the water, into the whatever. And then Jules looks at him and says, Dodge, why haven't you asked me where Butcher is? And Dodge laughs and his face morphs into Newbie. And she goes, I guess that's because you already know. And Newbie says, I guess Katie told you. Souls without sin can't be marked. But as long as I keep this boat afloat, we go down together. And he's like, I'm a salvager just like you. You salvage boats, I salvage souls. I collect a boatload and send it back to management. I don't send a boatload back, and they aren't happy. It's my penance for a life of sin. And he's like, but I'm willing to make an exchange. This ship for your life. So basically, you fix this ship, and I'll let you go. And she's like, no, I want my crew back. And he's like, once a passenger is marked, they're mine. So Dodge was supposedly marked because he committed murder. Greer was marked because he cheated. Gabe was marked because he's greedy, maybe? And Butch, I don't know. It's a little nebulous. I'm like, I don't know that everyone was like...
So he's saying that they were all marked?
Yeah, basically. And Katie wasn't, because she's an innocent child kind of thing. And he's like, once a passenger is marked, they're mine. I can't trade them back. And she's like, then I guess it's over. She's about to hit the dynamite button. Newbie looks at a beam and makes the beam swing at her and knocks her into the water. Knocks her down. And she drops the trigger. So she drops the trigger on the bridge and then falls into the water. He jumps down after her and he's strangling her. And he's like, all you had to do was fix the ship. She then manifests a harpoon gun. You can manifest anything you want.
Nice.
She manifested a harpoon gun.
Get it, girl.
And so you have this harpoon gun. What do you shoot and what does she shoot?
I'm going to shoot a thing that makes the boat sink. I don't know what that is. Hand in hand, we're both going to shoot the thing that makes the boat sink.
Correct. She takes the harpoon and she aims perfectly at the trigger that's on the bridge, and the harpoon easily pushes the button and the boat blows to smithereens. We see all the souls floating up through the water. Katie is underwater too, and she's beckoning to Jules to like come through. Jules is swimming, so she's like underwater now. Somehow she survived the explosion. Disbelief, suspended. And she's like swimming through a door, and she's trying to swim to the surface with all the souls. And Katie's soul smiles and like disappears into the ether. Jules finally makes it to the surface, right next to a conveniently placed floating suitcase that she's able to get on top of.
Really,
Rose style. Same brain. And she watches the shink sip. She watches the ship sink very fast. And I had a bit of a science question about that because she's not that far. And I feel like the suction of a sinking ship would pull you in like fucking Ursula creating a whirlpool type situation. But apparently not. Maybe the ghosts were helping her. Jules is just floating in the ocean alone now. Daytime, and she's woken by a giant ocean liner horn. And she's rescued. Cut to the ambulance pulling up to the boat. Jules is brought out on a stretcher, and she's loaded into the ambulance, and she has view of the passenger loading bridge to this cruise ship, and she sees a bunch of crates being loaded onto the ship. And a guy behind all the crates being loaded turns to her, and it's Newbie. And she's like, no! Credits. The end. Mwahaha. Ghost ship.
I love it.
Yeah. It was fine. It's more fun to tell.
I had a blast.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I fucking love this podcast, because it doesn't really matter if the movie is good or not, because I get to tell you a fun story and you're the best. Okay, let me tell you your points.
Tell me my points. Tell me my points.
Hey, Sammies. So, as you've heard, we have a Patreon, and we have some amazing BoneCon happening over there.
That's bonus content.
BoneCon all the time. We are constantly updating our benefits, and we would love for you guys to come hang out with us over there. And we actually have some deals going on right now if you join soon.
Join for an annual membership by the end of 2020, and you'll get 2 months free.
So, Sammies, what are you waiting for? Come on. Come over to Patreon. We're all hanging out. Goodbye.
We're all gonna stay alive.
Oakley dokley. You did really well.
Yeah?
You got 4 out of 7 on your Dead or Alives.
Oh, great.
Out of questions, you got 24 out of 32.
Nice.
For a total of 28 out of 39.
Yeah.
Great job.
Killed it.
You survived the ghost ship because you know
Fucked
cruise
it.
ships and you fucked it good, but weren't greedy and didn't take its gold.
Yay.
Hooray. So yeah.
That was so
That was
fun. I loved it. Thank you for telling me this fun tale.
You're welcome. So I think next week is our Thanksgiving episode, I believe.
Oh, it is.
Nobody do anything for Thanksgiving because our numbers are climbing. That's what Zoom is for. Sorry. Please, God, please, just stay inside.
It sucks, though.
It really fucking sucks.
I agree.
Really
I'm
hard.
I'm like, I'd love to see my family.
Yeah. It's a real bummer.
Yeah.
But
Not my
people dying of a
parents,
virus is more
just-
of a bummer.
my other family.
Right. Oh no, I got what you mean. Yeah. So
We're still not speaking after the election situation. But or at least one.
You
of
and your
them.
stepdad, not your mom.
Yeah.
Just
But yeah. Anyway, we'll be here though for horror Thanksgiving.
yeah. And don't forget, we have a live show 12/12 for $12. It's
We
gonna be
don't
really
have
fun.
any information for it yet, so just come back next week. But we'll post things. Obviously.
Maybe by the time this episode is out, we'll have information for you. So who knows?
maybe.
We'll see.
That'll be exciting. It's exciting for all of us to find out.
What information we'll have. Yeah.
Anyway, so just follow us on social media at kksampodcast. You know all the things. We have a Patreon. We'd love you to join. We have merch if you'd love to wear a shirt or whatever with our sayings on it. And please write us a 5-star review. Thank you to everyone who has written a 5-star review recently.
gosh.
There's been an uptick in that, so we really appreciate that because it does help us grow.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing, just for fun, some holiday giveaways to our patrons of, fun horror movie stuff and things. And
that's it. This has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
maybe
So until next week,
stay alive.
goodbye.
Bye. Put a ghost in me.
I'm done.